remember filming all that?
That's pretty intense.
No?
No?
No? Would you like to turn it on, or?
I turn it on.
Okay.
Do I press that?
Don't be Thomas here.
I don't know how to do it.
Just press on for 3 seconds. There you go. There should be a green there.
Okay. No. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, that was cool. Did you say Devin Blake put it together? Who put that together? Anyway, it was
Even
really
Blake Hack.
Devin Blake. Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Of
Very
all of
cool.
those action scenes, do you have this one come to mind that's like more visceral that you really enjoyed filming?
I was watching that going, I didn't realize I did so much action, actually. But one of the fight sequences that was really cool, I think one of the longer ones, or one of the better ones, was actually the one that made it to air with me and Ricky was actually about 3 times longer than that. So we did so much stunt rehearsal for it. But unfortunately there was this really cool fight sequence that was going to happen in season 6, I believe, when that person set themselves on fire in Sanctum. That was supposed to be a lot bigger, that sequence. But we ran out of time, unfortunately. But there were some really cool things in that, but yeah, we ran out of time, so that was unfortunate.
Bummer. Okay, just saw Eliza in the green room, and she said to ask you, what's it like getting your ass kicked in Pokemon 2?
Who's that?
Your wife.
Oh, I'm not getting my ass kicked.
You guys are fairly competitive, I understand?
Oh, look, I just give her shit all the time, but I kind of moved on to Angry Birds.
Which version?
I think it's Angry Birds 2.
Okay, Angry Birds Friends is mine.
But that's a real money grab. You play Pokemon Go and you go, oh, I need some more remote raid passes. You pay for them, right? Whereas Angry Birds is like literally every day. It's like, hey, spend $100. You're like, what? You know, like buy me a drink first. Let's start. Give me something for free, and then I'll maybe buy some of those little purple diamondy things. You guys know what I mean?
Yes, the coins.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you obviously just flew back from Australia. Can you tell everyone what you've been working on?
They haven't released it yet, so you know, technically I'm not allowed to talk about it. But I'll be working on a comedy series, and you know, it's around mental health and kind of like very much it you know, kind of tackles those difficult subjects which I have always tried to at least normalise and destigmatise. So I'm really excited about that, and I think comedy is a great place to jump off for to bring that conversation in a palatable way for people to talk about. And then after that, I'll go straight on to doing season 2 of Love Me. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu here. It's totally different from The 100, but yeah, that's all.
And you get to have your real accent.
I do, yes, I'm Australian. No, yeah, I just...
Yeah, not the Bellamy.
No, not Bellamy, no.
Any more plans or desire to direct?
I got a friend's script options with a film company. I was hoping to kind of get producing and stuff in line before the little one came along, and I was trying to push it along, but you know, little Henry got here first, and then work came, so that's kind of been put on the back burner until next year. But it's definitely in the wheelhouse, and putting together pitch decks for certain different other projects. So yeah.
I mean, the obvious question I would start with is, what is it like being a father, a new father?
It's really incredible, and I don't know how many of you out there are parents, but it's one of the most rewarding and challenging things. But also, it opens up this door to this whole other universe of love that you didn't know that was there. This kind of real, incredible love that you have for your child. And you know, it's not that, like, you know, as time goes on, he becomes a bit more responsive and this, that, and the other, and it can feel like quite a challenge, but it's quite amazing. And especially, you know, a friend had said to us, you know, the most important relationship with your child is your relationship with your partner. You know, it's about you two, and so in that way, it's been an amazing experience like that we've gone through together. And you know, anyone that has given birth to a child, like, it's the most incredible thing. It's scary and terrifying and all that stuff, but it's so unifying and such a beautiful thing. So I'm really grateful. Like, and I miss him like so much because I have to be away from him for work. But yeah, I'm really, like, even though it's painful, I'm very grateful to have something to care about that much.
Do you FaceTime your baby yet when you're abroad?
I have. I don't know whether because he just loves, babies love watching babies. Like you put a mirror in front of them, they're just like, ah. So I don't know whether he's like trying to say hi to me or just trying to grab his own little face in the thing. But yeah, I'll get to see him for a little bit, so very excited about that.
And how's Panda now that you have to share him?
Panda is great. She is very excited for him to learn how to throw a ball. Like she's ridiculous, that dog. Like she will try and make any kind of task, this is now ball throwing task. So like when she hears me brushing my teeth, she goes, I better go get my ball. So like changing Henry, she's like, this is a ball time now. So I think she's really keen to have someone else throw the ball. It's actually Bowie who's a bit he's very standoffish. And we're like, mate, look, actually it was only when Henry started eating solids that Bowie's like, hey, who are you?
Dropping some food on the floor.
Yeah.
Wait till the high chair, and then he's going to get tons of food.
I know, yeah. So Bowie is warming up in that way because food's involved now. Yeah, he's funny, that boy. Bowie,
that is, yes. We're going to go back in time for some of your previous projects. And
Okay.
I'm going to name a TV movie, and let's see if you remember what the heck it was. This is what it says. 5 years in the future. After years without rain, fire engulfs the entire city. What show was that? What movie is that?
Scorch.
Scorch is correct. What was your character's name?
Brendan?
Yes! One star! Nice! Okay, I'm going to give you the name of a character. You tell me what it's from. Ethan Quinn.
Ethan Quinn was from Sea Patrol.
Winners and losers.
Do you know who I played in Sea Patrol?
I don't have that on my notes from IMDb.
I haven't done that many jobs, so that's terrible.
You have 13 credits.
Wow.
FYI.
A lot of them went for many years, by the way.
Right.
Guys.
Now, do you remember your character's name on Neighbors?
Aiden Foster.
And on Home and Away?
Drew Curtis.
Excellent, okay. But you were never on at the same time as Eliza?
No. Well, I was on Home and Away when she was on Neighbours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone in Australia at some point is on either show.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was kind of like that. Like, you kind of just start making lateral movements when you're in Australia. So it's kind of, when you come to the States, it's like going to the Olympics for, acting and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
TV gigs. So, yeah. They're as rare as hen's teeth jobs in Australia. So I'm very fortunate to have two. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you one silly trivia question, then we'll open up the floor because everyone's here for you.
Okay.
How many Teen Choice Awards have you been nominated for?
Teen Choice. 1?
5.
5.
Teen. Of the whole cast, you have the most. You have one more than Eliza, so you can put that over her. By the way, the #1 trend on Twitter right now is the word Eliza because of this convention. So, good job, everybody. So we have a microphone right there, and you can line up, and we have some time if you'd like to ask Bob questions.
It's funny that I had the most Teen Choice, and
Yeah.
I was the oldest of the young crowd.
It's true, yeah, teenager Bellamy.
Yeah.
By the way, of all those outfits, is it like the Mount Weather, the hat, like your die-hard, was that like your favorite outfit, or what was your favorite?
My favorite outfit, I think it was season 4 Bellamy with the jacket I had asked them. It was funny because Eliza and I were looking at our jackets because she brought home I think maybe 6 seasons worth of jackets, all very different, and I have one jacket for 4 seasons because I asked it to be that way.
Yeah.
So I think season 4 it had all the different parts from season 1, 2, and 3 in it.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Nice. Excellent. Okay. Questions?
Hi, my name is Gail and I'm from Salem, Mass. It's about a 30-minute drive north.
Is that where the witches were?
Yes, it is. So if you ever want to take a quick trip, just a walking around the city, it's nice there and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just want to say thank you for the many years that you have brought me, Joey, and everybody else, and congratulations on the family.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't wait to see what the future holds for you and everybody else.
Thank you
And
very
that's
much.
it. Love you.
Hey, Sid.
Hi, Bellamy. I wanted to know if you still talk to Octavia.
With Marie?
Yeah.
On occasion, yeah. She's like, she kind of floats around a lot. Sometimes she's in LA. I know Eliza chats with her a bit more and stuff like that. But yeah, on occasion.
Yeah.
She's kind of like, I never really know where she is. It's kind of funny when you, like sometimes some friends will pop up in LA and you're like, okay, let's see each other. But I think also with COVID, it was just kind of like everyone went into their own little shell and yeah. And it's,
Have a nice day.
oh, thank you. You too. Yeah, social events are a real kind of rarity with a 5-month-old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except because, have you tried Aaron Ginsberg's pizza yet?
No, not yet, but he has hung out there before.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's funny, like with friends who are like, yeah, like if you come over between like 1 and 2, like that'll be great. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm running a bit late, like I might be there like 2:30, like don't follow up.
Yeah.
Like, Henry's not gonna want to see you. And
It's now time.
Yeah.
Hi again.
Hello.
So my favorite character is Murphy, and I love Bellamy and Murphy's relationship, and you and Richard, like, I've loved it forever. Is there a scene that you have between the two of you that's your favorite over the course of the seasons?
I think, there's so many, but I reckon very early on, Richard and I were always pushing each other and like kind of really built our friendship around trying to elevate each other's performance. And so those early scenes, like when it was like Wells and Murphy were fighting and stuff like that, they were always places for us to really kind of play, especially when I was being hanged by Murphy. That situation was really lovely. Like, ridiculous, but yeah, whenever we were together and doing that stuff, it was great. And then as the years went on, they kind of, like, we got separated a lot in storylines, so that was a bit of a shame. But I think one of my favourite scenes with Richard was when I was directing Richard in 611. And unfortunately, they cut this line. But like, there was a line where he's leaving and he says to Miller, save me a cookie, as he's getting taken out. And I remember the writer going, oh, that line's silly, we should take it out, let's get rid of it. But I was like, no, that line is the scene. And said to Richard, imbue all your emotions into that cookie line. And he fucking nailed it. And so, yeah, it was really fun. So I think some of my favourite scenes with Richard were the ones where I got to direct him. And it's a real joy to kind of sit back and see an actor give you so many options when you're working as a director and going, oh, that's going to be awesome for the edit. You kind of really go, you appreciate the work that they do. And, yeah.
If you remember, can you reenact how he did it? How he did the line?
No, I wouldn't dare try and do a bad imitation of Richard Harmon. No.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you.
Hello again.
Hello. Really taking control of that mic, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Before I ask my question, in your Bellamy voice, can I get a whatever the hell we want?
You can. Yeah. But I'm pretty tired.
What's the emotion? Emotion.
You want some emotion?
Emotion.
Whatever the hell we want.
Nice.
Thank you. And my question is, what are some influential actors that you look up to?
I don't know. I really love Philip Seymour Hoffman, James Gandolfini. They're no longer with us, but yeah, there's no one actor that I'm like, oh, this is who I want to model myself on or whatever it is. I think Paul Newman's done some really amazing things. Yeah, I really like Oscar Isaacs. I think he's got a really brilliant way about doing things. And Timothy Chalamet does some really, really cool and interesting things and very natural in his performance. So there's actors that I like to watch, like Joaquin Phoenix, and yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bob. So I'm sitting here racking my brain because I've asked you so many questions over
That's
the
true.
years.
Many years.
Many years. So, and I'm like, okay, I love me some Love Me. So,
Oh yeah.
What were some of your favorite scenes to shoot on Love Me?
I don't know if you guys saw the guys panel, but someone asked about, like, do the writers listen to you? And Zach was saying, all shows kind of have their different take on things. Love Me was one of those shows where we got to play around and improvise and collaborate and work a lot with the director and as performers, and like it was kind of one of the first shows that I've done where it's like you can ad-lib and you can try different things, and the experience as a whole was quite amazing. But I think one of the ones that I really enjoyed, where I didn't really have to do much in, was if you haven't seen it, Hugo Weaving's in it, and he does this big speech in it, and it's really lovely and wonderful. And for me, growing up, having watched Hugo Weaving, I think he's fantastic. And so to be able to kind of just sit there in the room and watch him do his thing, like word perfect every time, absolutely brilliant. And it was just a joy to sit back and be in that scene with him and just kind of, like Peter in Love Me is my character. He's very present and he's very like a vulnerable, realised human being. So to kind of just sit there and to not have any other kind of inner monologue from a character and motive, or like I have to kill this person to get to that place. Like to be able to sit in the scene and just be a part of that whole performance was beautiful. So yeah.
I'm really glad that you had such a good experience on that show.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That show.
And excited for season 2.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Hey, so I have a question. So Bellamy shared good rapport with Murphy, Miller, and Monty. Out of the other 3 rappers that Bellamy shared with were Kane, Finn, and Ron. Which, out of these 3 characters, which one do you enjoy the most as a character? As an actor? No, as a character.
So you say rival or?
No, like relationship, any kind of idea. Like Finn Bellamy, Kane Bellamy, and the other one was?
And Rowan.
Rowan Bellamy. So which one you enjoyed the most?
As a dynamic, I actually liked the Bellamy Finn one. Like they all have like echoings of that relationship with Finn, like adversarial, and then like kind of finding common ground and then separating and going their own ways. Like it would have been really interesting if Finn had stayed around, and like it would have been cool to see him come back from that brink. Working with Ian was like, Henry Ian was really fun, and it was kind of interesting because there's a period in the story where there's Kane and there's Pike, and they're kind of fighting over Bellamy and which way he should go. And there was one day where Mike Beach and Henry Ian were sitting there having a full-on discussion, like argument about why Bellamy should do this, that, or the other. And I actually think there's a photo of it where I'm sitting down at a table watching those two fighting over what was the right thing for Bellamy to do. And like as they both believe their characters are right, and as they should, they defended them both. And so that was a really fun journey for me to play as well. And it was just funny too with those guys, like, because like Henry Ian, he's fun, and I feel like he's a friend, and Mike Beach felt like a real mentor as well. So in amongst all that, for me as the younger performer, it was just nice to learn from both of them and take the best bits, what I could from them. So yeah.
Oh, great. And another question, when is I'll Be Watching coming out?
I have no idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In another world of sci-fi, My Two Dads.
My Two Dads.
With Ian and Mike
exactly.
Beach.
Yeah.
I watched that show.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to ask a Love Me question, but you asked the question I was. But big fan of Love Me. I thought it was great. So looking forward to seeing you. But all right, so I'm going to give you a really heavy question.
Okay.
Because I've actually always appreciated how introspective you are about things in these panels. So accepting that maybe the answer lies somewhere in the middle. What won, humanity or COVID? Which is on brand with the 100.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's I would like to think that COVID actually gave humanity a bit more humanity, in that way. Like, it's not necessarily about who won or lost. I mean, a lot of us lost people and had to really look at ourselves and, it's kind of, and really take stock of what we value, and like friendships, being able to sit in a room with each other. All these things that were seen so commonplace 3 years ago was all of a sudden taken away from us. And if anything, I think that COVID, as horrible as it is and still going, enabled us to kind of all take a chance to reevaluate where we were as people. I know like a lot of friends of mine fell out of relationships, changed careers, had to move home and kind of reassess their situation. And I think there is a silver lining in that. But yeah, it's interesting because I just finished reading *Sapiens*. The book came out.
So did I.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm reading *Homo Deus* right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the follow-up to *Sapiens*. But it's really quite interesting about how we as a human race, even though there's all these things happening, we always kind of develop new technologies to kind of help us get through this, that, or the other. And that actually right now we're living in a world with the most peace we've ever had in human history. But it's really hard to see that when, we're in it. But yeah, I don't know if there's like a definitive answer. I don't think COVID won, for sure. I think we all kind of took away some valuable lessons from that, and, that's a good thing.
Well, thank you for a thoughtful answer as always.
Oh, no worries, thank you for a tough question.
Hi, so before I ask my question, I just want to say thank you very much. Bellamy has been one of my favorite characters for a really long time, and your portrayal of him has been a huge comfort to me, so I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
And then my question is, there's a scene in either season 2 or 3 with Gina where she brings you back the Iliad, and as a big Greek mythology fan and Iliad fan myself, I was curious if you would talk more about if you thought Bellamy had a big connection with literature like that, or even just other media in general, what you think Bellamy would find comfort in.
It's interesting, yeah, that narrative was pushed onto Bellamy, and I think to a degree, the Iliad and the Odyssey is kind of literature that gets thrown into so many shows, because I think it's like this nod, and I don't necessarily think they filter in through those themes very well through shows. It's kind of like one of my pet peeves is seeing chess played in a show, and so I had a chess scene in my episode, and I said, can you set it up so it's game 7 from Bobby Fischer v. Spassky? So I was like, hey, it's a proper game, so if anyone looks at it, they'll go, okay, that's what that game is. So I feel like the Iliad and the Odyssey is one of those things that writers put in there to go, we have cred, they did chess. But obviously Queen's Gambit changed that, now everyone plays chess. So yeah, I don't know how true it was to the storytelling of the 100, but it was, it's one of those kind of meta nods to storytelling in general.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally understand what you
Yeah.
mean. Cool,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
I wanted to know, do you have a favorite line or moment from the show, whether it's with Bellamy or another character?
I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I was just brushing my teeth, and I was thinking about the line that Isaiah said, I lost my son. And I was like, he did a really fucking good job of that. Yeah. Now that I have a son, I was like, oh, that resonates differently with me now. So, yeah, that line, I think he's just a powerhouse, and that line, at the time, I was like, now I'm like, yeah, that's pretty powerful stuff. So that's a line that jumped back into my head. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Following up with that a minute, Eliza has said, I would play Maddie's mother differently now that I am a mother. Would you make any changes or play Bellamy differently now as a father?
No, because Bellamy wasn't really in that position. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might have been different if he did have that in him. But yeah, no, I don't think so.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
So I have one thing that I found out like at Comic-Con San Diego, I was in San Diego and I got an autograph from you and Eliza, but I wasn't able to come in person because I was at the Marvel panel. So yeah, it sucked. I had to make a choice.
Right, okay.
I loved you as Bellamy. Like, you were one of my family's favorite characters, like, from the show, period. And you were apparently in Decatur, where I live, filming your movie, and I was just like, what? Like, I always just miss people. But I have a couple questions that are really quick. So one of them is my aunt and my cousin are actually Filipino, and so it was really cool to see like Filipino representation and share it with my little 7-year-old cousin.
That's awesome.
And one of my favorite things is lumpia. Like, she makes such amazing lumpia. So I was wondering if you like have any favorite Filipino recipes.
My favorite is adobo. That's my favorite.
Ooh, yeah.
Cuisine, yeah. And so my mum is in Los Angeles at the moment, so.
Oh, cool, she's still there.
Yes.
So my second big question is, I know you love to play Dominion, but have you played other deck building games, like DC deck building games?
No, but like Eliza, like after years of not wanting to play, she started playing like this year,
cool.
and you know, it kind of started off easy, and now now it's like she wins quite a lot.
Wow, that's
Actually,
cool.
the last game we played, which is like the last one we played for a while, because I'm shooting till like next year. She won, so she's got that on me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
My question is, obviously one of Bellamy's biggest influences and motivations in early seasons was Octavia and keeping her safe. And I think part of that is due to his perceived guilt of their mother's death. And we saw their mom come back in season 7.
Yeah.
Do you think that Bellamy let go of the guilt of losing their mother?
I know for me, as a performer, and then when Monique turned up, Monique plays my mother, Monique Parsons, I think her name is. She's like stunt coordinator on all the bloody Marvel things in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
So she went for just for that. But back to your question. When I was playing that scene, I haven't seen it, but for me it was quite cathartic. Even though there was like no words exchanged or whatever it was, I felt like it was him releasing that guilt. And in that way, you know, the way that I kind of found peace with Bellamy, you know, coming to his end, was that at least he had a moment of clarity, a moment of contentment with his mother in that transcended kind of state. So yeah, when she came back as a performer, I felt it to be quite cathartic. And it's one of the nicest moments I think I've had on the show as Bellamy. Like the first time that I felt there was quiet in his mind and his heart was in those scenes with his mother in that cave. So yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. So thanks for reminding me of that, because it was quite nice.
You're welcome. And a quick follow-up, do you think that obviously, you know, season 6 and 7 were still tense for Octavia and Bellamy? Do you think that Octavia and Bellamy made peace, even though obviously Bellamy's ending was unexpected?
I think that Bellamy had made peace. No, I'm not necessarily, like, you know, that was kind of Octavia's journey to find that peace. I think that they're, you know, I think in general, it's not somebody else's job to help you find peace within yourself, you know, like to kind of make it somebody else's task to fix your problems. It's not, it's kind of unfair. So in that sense, you know, I don't know if she made peace with him. It was quite interesting because with season 1, we did this kind of, this circular relationship with Bellamy and Octavia. And season 1, when Bellamy says go with Lincoln, and you know, and I felt like that was him letting her go. And then as the seasons went on, it kind of just kept being this push and pull between that. And I guess that's like similar to life, but it was like, I think that like there was just more things heaped on to make it more difficult for them to get past that obstacle. So I think time and time again between the two of them, there was forgiveness and then like betrayal, and forgiveness and betrayal, and like, you know, it was just a matter of time until forgiveness overrode all of those things, and maybe it was Bellamy's passing that had to happen for her to find peace. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
No worries, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I don't have a super deep and introspective question. I'm here with some family. My sister-in-law is the one that put all this stuff together and stuff.
Fantastic.
And I didn't want to embarrass her all day, but
Okay.
today is her birthday.
Oh.
If you could wish her a happy birthday.
Happy birthday. What's your name?
Liz.
Liz. Happy birthday, Liz. Thank you for coming. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kate.
Okay.
So first I want to say thank you for all the advocacy that you do for mental health. It's such important work, and especially for people in my generation, it is just so impactful. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
And the other thing, how did you and Eliza both react when you guys got the script and figured out that she was going to be the one to end up killing Bellamy?
I think we both thought, no. Yeah, and you know, there were some glaring themes, like why wouldn't she take a book? That's kind of odd. But you know, like, it's just one of those things. And yeah, I felt bad for Eliza because I thought it was a massive disservice to Clark. You know, and so, you know, I think it's dramatic to have Clark kill Bellamy, but I thought, yeah, it was hard on Eliza and Clark to then carry on after that, you know, without it diminishing her character or like, you know, kind of minimising Bellamy's impact. So it wasn't necessarily outraged that she was killing me, it was more like, oh, that sucks for you and your character. It's kind of using it as a vehicle to tell this story. Like, you know, there are probably other ways to go about it, but that's the way that it landed, so yeah.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
So, 2022 has been pretty tough for me. I was unexpectedly diagnosed with brain cancer at 29. So obviously, I figure you've struggled a lot in your life, like with mental health and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, what gets you through the toughest days?
You know, a lot of, firstly, thank you for sharing, and whatever kind of help that I can give you, you know, I'm here for it. What gets me through the toughest days, I think it's actually doing a lot of prep work on the good days. On the days where you can think about these things and work through them, or at least set up a kind of neural pathway in terms of navigating it, or finding a support network that you can reach out to. The good days are the days when the work is really important, because the bad days, you just don't want to fucking do it, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So on those good days when you feel strong, that's when you can really start to make some headway and try and think. I always try and think about projecting positively, you know, like the past I can't change and the future is not certain, but in this moment where I have clarity, that's where I can do my work. So every morning I get up and I write and I work through like I do cognitive behavioral therapy stuff, I do a little bit of meditation and exercise and all that stuff, but it's really important to be vigilant with it and to, you know, allow yourself to sit in that discomfort as well. You know, I'm not a doctor, or you know, but like I would say that on those good days, and like, you know, what you've done today, like coming out and asking this question and bearing it, you know, being vulnerable, that's really powerful and really shows a lot of strength. And when you have that strength, I think it's really important to use that and put that towards the good that you can, because sometimes those bad days are really tough. And if you can't, then you don't want to share and you don't want to do anything, right? But if on those good days you put that groundwork in place and you talk to your friends and your family and say, hey, on a bad day, this would be really great if we could do this, or you just gave me my space, whatever it was. I think that's like probably the best thing that I can give and say is that the good days are the days when you make hay, when that sun's shining, you really put in that work. Because the bad days can be really tough and you don't want to do the work. And communicating with those that you love, you know, and saying this is what I'm going through, and when I'm not feeling the best, this would be really helpful. This small gesture of kindness or just a little bit of encouragement. Yeah, that yeah, I wish you all the best, and you know, like just, it's a tough thing, and yeah.
Thank you.
That's all right.
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
My question relates to Love Me. I really enjoyed the show as a whole, and I just thought that Peter was such a loving and caring, empathetic character. I was wondering, what's your favorite quality of Peter, and it left off on such a hopeful note. What do you hope for your character for next season?
So yeah, that was one thing I was saying, is Peter is like quite a realised human being. One thing that I really liked about Peter was his willingness to accept his faults, to accept himself, and to move through a lot of his own demons. And I think if anyone hasn't seen it, he kind of has this part where he talks about how he wasn't looking after himself, and he did all this stuff, and he was a crap dad, and he's trying to work towards making things better. I think the fact that Peter has come to this realisation it's really nice, and it's a really fun character to play because he is so considered. Like, there are things that he's in a relationship with this character called Clara that Clara does. So Clara does these things that are outrageous, and as a performer, when I'm alongside Boyana, I want to be reactionary to what she's doing, but Peter is very kind of willing to just kind of let it sit and see how these things play out. He's very considered in that way, and that's one thing I really love about him. So it's kind of like counterintuitive, but also the amazing thing about that character. Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries, thank you.
Hi, so my question's also about Octavia. I think one of my favorite relationships on the show was Bellamy and Octavia, just because the sibling relationship. I feel like you don't see that as often in shows. And I was wondering what your favorite scene to film with Marie would be.
With Marie, it's so funny because I was thinking about a scene that was never shot that was actually really cool, which got changed, which would have been a really cool scene. Which was about, it was like Bellamy and Octavia. You know what, the show's over, can't talk about it. So in the episode that I directed, they're in that cave with mushrooms. And in the original draft, they both end up started hallucinating in that cave, and their mother turns up, and the three of them have this conversation, and it was quite emotional. And even when I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I was like, and I get to direct it, it's going to be great. That would have been a really cool scene. But to your question, it's any of those scenes where we are talking about the more vulnerable stuff. Like, it's cool when we were fighting together and doing all that stuff, and the Blake's kicking ass. But for me as a performer, I prefer that more kind of pared back, emotional, raw stuff that Bellamy and Octavia get to share. And I also think that's like when Marie is awesome at ass kicking, but also I think she's at her best when she is vulnerable and we sit in that quiet kind of space. So any scenes where we're in that world is always a joy. It's kind of like, I love those scenes,
Thank you.
We have 3 minutes left, so let's do the last 2 questions.
Okay.
Hi. Is there any aspects from playing Bellamy and his personality that you've kind of adopted after the show?
After the show? I hope not. Look, the one thing that I'll say about all the characters on the 100 is their resilience. And a lot of you guys, it resonated with a lot of you guys out here too, and you hear the stories about helping people to get through whatever difficulty they're going through. And that was one thing that I even was like, how the fuck do these guys get up in the morning? This is so hard, but they always fought. And so if there was anything to take away, it's how the characters always picked themselves up. Right or wrong, they fought, they took life and just went hard at it and never gave up in that way. So that's one thing that I would have hopefully can translate into my life. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, mate.
I was wondering, are there any characters in real life or in fiction that you used as inspiration for Bellamy, especially in the early seasons?
Actually, yeah. Bellamy is like really, a lot of it is based on my brother. Yeah, not that he's anything like Bellamy, but he, for the most part, and not to minimize the role of my parents, but they were away working a lot, and so my brother is only 4 years older than me. From like the age of 6 to about 15, he kind of raised all of us. So, and he was very stoic and very like task-driven, and showed his love in a very odd way. But he was amazing, and I looked up to him, you know. And even though with all his faults, you know, I knew that he loved me, but he was very, like, yeah, very stoic in his own way. So Bellamy is a lot of my brother, really. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
No worries, thank you.
Well, everyone give a round of applause for Morley. I was given a note from housekeeping here. Okay.